The rain had begun long before dawn, a steady sheet of silver falling across the quiet streets. Amir had grown used to starting his mornings this way. As a single father, he measured life not by the weather but by the rhythm of his son's needs. Every weekday he dropped 7-year-old Daniel at school before heading to the small repair shop where he worked. Most mornings passed without surprise. That particular morning carried something different, though Amir did not know it yet. The rain had slowed traffic to a crawl. By the time Amir reached Daniel's school gate, the line of cars was already stretching around the block. He glanced at the clock inside. If he stayed in this line, he would be late to open the shop. Daniel tightened the straps of his backpack and looked up with sleepy eyes. "Baba, can we run the last bit? I like the rain." Amir could never deny him. They stepped out of the car and hurried under a shared umbrella. They were halfway across the pavement when a sharp cry reached them. Not the cry of a child. It was the startled voice of a woman. A young woman stood beside a sleek car that had stopped abruptly near the curb. Her heel had snapped. Water splashed around her feet. She held a suit jacket tightly against herself, shivering. The rest of her outfit looked like it belonged in a high meeting room rather than the muddy street. "Sir, please wait. Can you help me?" Amir paused. He wanted to help, but he also needed to get Daniel inside before the bell. The woman seemed embarrassed yet desperate. A cold wind whipped through the street. Without overthinking, Amir gave Daniel the umbrella and asked him to hurry to the gate. Then he turned back to the woman. "Are you all right?" Her cheeks were flushed from the rain and something like frustration. "I was supposed to be at an early conference. My shirt is drenched. I brought a spare one, but I cannot change out here in the open. I was looking for a restroom, but everything is closed at this hour." She clutched the jacket closer. It was clear she was holding it because her blouse underneath had gone almost transparent in the rain. She stood tall yet clearly uncomfortable, trying to protect her dignity. "There is a small staff room behind the school gate. Let me ask the guard. You can change there." She hesitated for a moment, weighing trust against necessity, then nodded. The guard recognized Amir since he came every day and allowed them into a quiet storage area. Amir stepped back to leave. "Thank you," she said. "Please stay outside. I will only be a moment." He nodded and closed the door, but it was flimsy and the lock hung loose. A moment later, a gust of wind pushed the door inward. Amir turned instinctively to steady it. At that exact instant, the woman was pulling on her dry shirt. Her back was turned, her hair gathered loosely at the nape of her neck. The curve of her shoulder caught the soft light from the window. He froze and quickly pulled the door shut again. "I am so sorry." The wind. The door. "I did not mean to look." Silence filled the small corridor. When she stepped out a minute later, she appeared composed, but a faint blush colored her face. "It is all right," she said softly. "I know you were only fixing the door." Before Amir could respond, she straightened her jacket and asked him for his name. Something in her voice was calm yet firm, as if she was long accustomed to giving directions. When he told her, her brows lifted. "Amir. I have heard that name. Do you run that repair shop near the library?" "Yes. I do. You fixed my assistant's laptop last month. She kept praising you." He smiled awkwardly. It was rare for anyone to remember him that way. Then her driver appeared from around the corner holding a new pair of shoes. She gave Amir a final grateful look before climbing into her car. He guided the door closed and returned to his own day, assuming the story had ended there. It did not. The next afternoon, a black car stopped in front of his shop. The same woman stepped out, dry and composed now, dressed with quiet authority. Amir nearly dropped the screwdriver he had been holding. She introduced herself properly. Her name was Zara Khan, and she was the chief executive of a well-known tech company in the city. Amir stared, unable to reconcile the shivering woman from the rainy morning with the confident leader now standing in his doorway. "I hope I did not startle you," she said with a faint smile. "I came because I wanted to thank you again." You helped me without hesitation. That is rare. She handed him a small wrapped box for Daniel and insisted it was only a token of gratitude. Amir tried to refuse, but she simply shook her head. You did something kind when you had nothing to gain from it. She glanced around his shop with thoughtful eyes. The shelves were old and cluttered. Tools that had been used for far too many years lay scattered across the counter. Amir felt strangely exposed under her steady gaze. Do you work alone here? She asked. Yes. It is not much, but it supports me and my son. She walked slowly around the room as though studying more than the objects. Perhaps she was studying him. Her voice softened. You reminded me of my own father. He believed that a person's true measure is revealed when no one is watching. You kept my dignity safe that day. I will not forget it. Amir felt warmth stir in his chest. He had not done anything grand, yet her words carried weight. Over the next weeks she returned several times. Sometimes she brought a device needing repair. Sometimes she brought snacks for Daniel. Sometimes she came with nothing except a few minutes to talk. She had a quick mind, but she listened with patience. Amir found himself sharing stories he rarely told anyone. He learned that she lived alone and carried responsibilities that often made her feel distant from others. It surprised him how natural it felt to speak with her. One evening she found him closing the shop late. Daniel was asleep on a chair, curled beneath Amir's jacket. Zara touched the sleeping child's hair with gentle affection. Then she met Amir's gaze. Life changes in strange ways, she said quietly. I kept thinking about that rainy morning. About the way you shielded me without asking for anything. I have been surrounded by people for years, but I cannot remember the last time someone treated me with that kind of sincerity. Amir felt his heart tighten. The air between them grew still. I did what anyone should do. Not anyone, she replied. The street outside hummed with evening traffic. Her expression held a mix of courage and uncertainty. I would like to know you better. Not as the man who fixed a broken laptop. Not as the stranger who held a door. As someone who matters. Amir looked at her, truly looked, and for the first time saw not a powerful leader nor a woman caught in the rain, but someone who had been waiting for a moment of connection just as much as he had. Then perhaps this is a beginning, he said. Her smile was soft and full of promise. Perhaps it is. And so a simple act of kindness on a stormy morning became the first quiet step toward something neither of them had expected. Their lives did not transform in a blaze of sudden change. Instead, they shifted slowly and steadily, like the easing of the rain after a long gray day. By the time the clouds cleared, they were no longer strangers, but two people who had discovered warmth in one another.